So years ago, I made a series and it was the sun through the houses. And I focused on the houses, like the sun in each house, and each video was dedicated just to that sun in that house. Of course, I have many moon videos. I have moon through the houses. I do have moon through the signs. But every once in a while, I like to upgrade my content. As I discover more, as I learn more, I like to sometimes add to that. So if you're someone that already watched a moon video and you're like, why is she making another moon video? I want to dedicate this moon video to the fourth house. Of course, you can definitely check that out. I have a couple of videos about the fourth house, I believe, and I have a lot of moon videos because the moon is very important to our understanding of our inner well-being. But I want to talk about if you have your moon in the fourth house, okay? Your moon in the fourth house, you are the reflector. The way you feel about the world is very much, it reflects what you internalized growing up. Everything you do is a reflection of something, good or bad. Everything you do. It doesn't matter if you're an emotional person. Your moon is in the fourth house. The moon rules the fourth house in astrology. So even if it's in a fire sign or an air sign, there's something about you that is sentimental or something about you that is really rooted in something, right? I do have notes. I wrote down some things. So I do have some things I wanted to say. So I might look down every once in a while. So this idea of like, there's always a home away from home. So this person, it's very important to feel comfortable where you are. The longer you are somewhere, the more it feels like home. So this is even if you have an office space. This is if you go to work certain places. You like having a home base, or you like having a spot that is yours. So even if it's like you travel a lot, but you go to different locations, you like having that seat right there. You like sitting in the corner. When people who, if you went to college, you like sitting there, right? Moon and fourth house people, it's about this kind of like sense of no matter where I am, I have a home. There's a home away from home. And the longer I am somewhere, the more I feel comfortable, or the more I have to make it feel comfortable. Moon and Aries person is like, I'm going to make my spot. I'm going to make it so I feel I'm good about where I am. Right. Now, it can be in their mind as well, the moon, the feeling of home, the feeling of what you need to feel comfortable. So, for example, a moon and Sagittarius person might be about knowledge, their home. They have a lot of books. They have a lot of knowledge. Their TV might stay on documentaries, or they have a range of things that they're interested in. They're curious about other cultures. They might watch a foreign movie. They might watch something with subtitles and be okay with it because they love the idea of like the richness of the culture. Now again with the moon. Moon likes things that are tapping into your senses, sensibility, your ability to emotionally relate emotionally. A Pisces person might like their home. Moon in Pisces might like their home to be an escape. Your moon's in the fourth house in Pisces. A Capricorn might like it to be a certain way. There's a system for how we do the dishes. There's a system for how we do this. Is a system, but also sometimes I don't want this to sound daunting. It can be beneficial to people. You like going over there because maybe you're a kid and like your house is a mess, and your aunt's very, it's very organized. It's very structured. It's clean. It makes sense, and you like being there, but you don't physically like being in your own home, right? It's a representation. Also, the moon in Capricorn be a representation of your achievement. Moon in Capricorn person, fourth house, anything sentimental to them that's meaningful, they show it. It doesn't mean they talk about it, but they might show it. It's a trophy. It's an award. It is something in their house that recognizes what they've done. It's shown somewhere, right? These are the people that have the flags in front of their house. These are the people that may have, a bumper sticker, veteran, I don't know, right? Like, right? The moon in Capricorn, fourth house energy is about, I'm going to show you how I've been recognized, things that are meaningful to them. It can be emotionally reactive. If fire, it's emotionally reactive. Okay. And so we might think that's not emotional, but like fire can be very emotional, but it's not going to come out emotional at first. It's going to come out as defensive or strong or passionate, but it can sometimes be very emotional. If it's water, the moon there is going to be more pondering. The moon there is more, sensitive to the needs of themselves or those around them. If it is earth, it is about being grounded. It is about being situated. It's about being stationary. It is about understanding your role within the things around you. If your moon's an earth sign in the 4th house, it is this need and desire to feel really, you need to stabilize your emotions. You don't like running around based off your emotions, but you understand the need to like process and ground yourself. Whereas if it's a moon in air sign in the 4th house, it's about, I'm going to go through the signs in a minute, but it's about communication, and it is about that flow of information. You are more sensitive to needing to hear from people that you care about. Okay. Where some people can go months without talking to somebody. Moon in air could be different. There could be a focus on where you're from. Home is important to the native. Fond memories of your childhood home or place. Everyone did not have a good childhood. So it could be a place. It was the lake. It was the schoolyard. It was the playground. It was the basketball court. Moon in 4th house people typically have a place they're very fond of that has to do with their background, their home. It could be they used to go down south to visit their family members every summer. Okay. 4th house is not a place of doubt. It's a place of activity. Remember, it is one of the most important angles. Remember the 1st, the 4th, the 7th, and the 10th angular houses. It is a place of activity. So dealing with matters of the home, family, roots is always essential. It's important. There's this kind of family theme, regardless of whether you like it or not. When you have your moon there's a family theme. For some people, it could be like, well, I don't talk to my family anymore. It could be that you have a lot of residual responses to things because of your family that you may have worked on or not worked on. You could be a person that's like, because of the way I grew up, I do this. Because of the way I grew up, I don't do that, right? It's those things. But there's an inner need that moon there always knows. And so people with moon in the 4th house, it's very essential to really work on how environments make you feel, because that's going to tell you whether you belong there or not. Again, that feeling of needing to be home mentally or physically. I need to feel at home here, right? It's comforting, especially with other placements there, but you don't want to be silenced. And sometimes the moon there can be confused by this inner sense because the moon is intuitive, but the moon sometimes has to deal with situations that are not necessarily in front of it. And so that moon there can be very sensitive and prone to, thinking you can escape your emotions and them coming out at the most unexpected time, especially if you're a fire sign and you don't deal with your emotions, if you're fire moon, okay? So here are some archetypes of the moon. All right, so I'm going to go through the signs. Moon, this is specific to moon in the 4th house, okay? Moon in Aries in the 4th house. Self-preservation is important. This person is very in tune with what they want and what they don't want, right? Very in tune. But also the moon here can mean, again, there are people that they like to do a lot for. Again, anytime we have moon 4th house, it could be a symbolizing some mother energy. Again, you'd have to look at the aspects of the chart. Is it squaring? Is the moon squaring Saturn? Is the moon squaring Pluto? Is the moon trining Saturn? Is the moon trining Pluto? Something like that. Moon in Sagittarius, really loyal to the beliefs. They get a lot of inner motivation through their home being a microcosm of what they really would like to experience in the world. So I know we talk about Sagittarius and travel, but actually that doesn't mean every person with Sag energy travels. It could be more people who mentally travel, or in their home. It's very interesting. Like they might have a vase from this country, or they have a painting from this person, and they have books from this and that. Like the moon Sag person, they need to feel a sense of their world is indicative of the different things that they're intrigued and interested by and that they can learn from. The world is somewhere for them to learn from. The home is a place where they can also learn as well. They don't feel they have to always go out. The moon in Capricorn can be about lineage. That matters more to those people sometimes. Tradition, or where you come from, also following, somebody's footsteps in some way, shape, or form, feeling that you have to keep up with the traditions, or you have to in some way, you are a part of something. That's a moon in Capricorn thing. I'm a part of something. Or there's a lot of generational energy that sometimes happens with moon and Cap. Moon in Gemini, what could be important is your neighborhood, where you come from, or your siblings. There's some theme around siblings. It's stronger than other people. So it could be, some people are like, hey, I have siblings. Yeah, we talk, Thanksgiving. But some people, it's like every day you need to talk to your sibling, or you live near them, or something like that. The moon in Aquarius. Moon in Aquarius sometimes might like to tell you about their background, how they were different. Moon in Aquarius tends to have an upbringing where there's a lot of independence. It is sometimes fostered in the individual, or in some way they're separated sometimes from like other family members or something of that regard. But the moon in Aquarius, and there's also like this, they can make home away from home. Like the moon in Aquarius person might feel like, no, I wasn't close to my siblings like moon in Gemini. I was close to my cousins, or I was close to these kids at school, or I had, my mom had a friend. We weren't related, but I called her son my cousin, you know, like that type of stuff. Like moon in Aquarius can become like home away from home. Energy is really significant in the moon in Aquarius in the 4th house, because there's this need to belong. And I say that about the two signs that people think have nothing to do with each other. Cancer and Aquarius both have a need to belong, different needs, different reasons. Of course, Aquarius is, I'm going to belong to a group. I feel like because again, Aquarius has the ideas, the innovation, but it can't function without the collective following them, okay? Whereas a Cancer energy is like the connectivity to the people that they are related to, the connectivity to people they feel should be giving them emotions. That's why it's so important for moon and Cancer people, that mother bond, or that, you know, that is very important for them to deal with if it's something negative. The moon in Taurus, what you possess is going to be important. What you possess, what you have, themes around items with people, you're likely to, you know, people passing something down to you that's very meaningful. Those types of things is important to the moon and moon in Taurus. In the 4th house, moon in Cancer, there's a sense of knowing where you come from. Again, feminine energy, you know, is somewhere there. This doesn't mean it's perfect. It can mean the person has an epic battle with their sibling, their sister, because their moon is square Venus, right? It doesn't mean perfection, but it means that energy is very strong, and it's very important to notice that. Pay attention to your relationships with the women in your family, because that's going to help you understand how you relate to other women in the world around you. The moon in Libra, you desire, you always have like you want a partner in crime, whether it was growing up with somebody in your house, growing up, it's like you were close to this parent, growing up, you were close to that person. Moon and Libra energy is, there's this need and desire to, and a lot of times the moon and Libra person they're closest to in their family is not just like them. No. You might think that like, oh, they're just the same. No, it's usually the person that's the polar opposite, interestingly enough, that need for balance. And moon and Libra can understand that maybe even a more internal way, obviously, than the sun. You know, the sun is that surface level stuff, the traits that we're conscious of, but the moon is what you really need. And so there could be a greater sense for the moon and Libra to understand what they need. They need that balance. You know, they know they need somebody that's better at something than them, or they know that they're better at something and they can help their sibling or help their parent even, right? Because sometimes you can even have those parent type of codependent relationships. I did moon and Sag earlier. I didn't do this in order. Moon and Scorpio, attachment, but sometimes moon and Scorpio in 4th house can be attached to like the struggle, the pain. Like, what do I mean by that? I made so many sacrifices to you. It's that energy. It's the person with the moon and Scorpio person with a parent, the mom maybe, who's like, I made so many sacrifices for you. And you feel this kind of like you're indebted, or you feel this guilt of like, I have to get back to you. It is the person that's like, I stumbled for a while. Now I made it. So you need to make it. But because it's like moon and Scorpio can have like experiences with tough love. And so you have to be careful when you, again, I always tell people with 4th house placements in general, investigate your emotions and your feelings to see where they really come from, because how you were raised, who raised you, you tend to mimic their emotional responses in some way, shape, or form. So it's very important to really identify where yours end and theirs end. Where's yours begin and theirs ends, or theirs ends and yours begin, whatever. The moon in Pisces. Moon in Pisces is idealism, around your sense of hope, around peace. You're the great neutralizer in the family. You know, you might be the person in the family that is like, people go to you because they know you're non-judgmental. You are empathetic. You understand what people are going through. You want everyone to make it. Moon and Pisces people, 4th house. I want everybody to make it. I'm not holding the same grudges. You know, you're not holding the same grudges against people from 10 years ago, whereas a moon Scorpio person might. And I'm not saying all moon Scorpios would, but I'm saying you're more likely. And I'm not saying you don't have reason to. I don't believe all grudges are unnecessary. You might have a good reason to not talk to someone because you might have those boundaries, like moon Scorpio. Moon Scorpio has the boundaries. The moon in Leo, you're emotionally inspired by praise in the family. You're emotionally inspired. You're the one who made it. You're the one who wants to make the family proud, or something of that nature. So moon and Leo energy, you also can sometimes be the cheerleader for others in your family, but you also need a lot of assurance, especially early in life. The moon in Virgo, this is like your space needs to be precise. There could be some OCD stuff, but the moon in Virgo, it's not OCD like you think. It is because moon in Virgo really needs it in order to function and not feel like they're going haywire. The moon in Virgo, fourth house person especially needs for their physical environment, their home, to be in order. And guess what? It's for the moon, it is emotional security. For the sun, it is, that's my trait. I'm a Virgo. I am a Virgo sun. So it's like, I do the Virgo things because that's what comes natural to me. But that's not my moon's in motivation. I'm not doing it for my moon. But the point I'm making is like a moon of Virgo person might rent a room from somebody. That room is going to be clean. That room is right. That room is going to be just immaculate, right? But the moon in Virgo emotionally processes a lot of different things. And so the moon in Virgo might not always give you a straight answer, but it's because they need to really filter through how they feel before they come up with a decision or before they talk to you. So honestly, the interesting thing is moon in Virgo is not as responsive quickly as a sun in Virgo or even a Virgo rising. The moon in Virgo, especially fourth house, is a processor of emotions, and they have to understand where the emotions go. And sometimes you can see your moon in Virgo person, they're very particular about who they feel what about. You're like, wait a minute, it's a whole group of people, but that moon in Virgo, I think this about you. I think this about you. I'm cool with you. I'm not cool with you. You did this to me. You did that to me. Like it's very much the moon in Virgo person does compartmentalize emotions to extreme level, but it can be good because a lot of people can't do that. They can't, some people are like, it's all or nothing. And with the moon in Virgo, it's not the case. And so that's really all I want to do to expand about the moon in the fourth house. It is a very reflective place. It is a place where your emotions, no matter what sign it is, are important for you to pay attention to because you know what motivates you. You know, if you listen to yourself, what it is that your needs are. But sometimes what happens is it's hard for us to get our needs met. And so sometimes when it's hard to get our needs met, especially when we were younger, we don't know how to do it. And so we ignore and we suppress what we really feel. And the more we suppress what we feel, we're going to feel more anxious. We're going to feel more resentful. We're going to feel more like we're a victim of things. And it's really important for us to understand what is being spoken. What is it that we need? When we feel down, you need to go back. When you feel emotionally depleted, go to your fourth house and say, like, what is it that this means? What does a sign indicate? Again,